I thought that the opening ceremony was a disgrace, actually. I thought it was a disgrace.
The mocking of the Last Supper.
I thought it was
Catholics and Christians across the globe are outraged.
I mean, they can do certain things. I thought it was terrible.
Let's talk about the right wing's collective meltdown over the opening ceremony at the Paris Olympics.
Can you say at the next Olympics, if you're present, you'll have enough influence on the organizers that we won't be, insulting Christians?
We won't be having a Last Supper as portrayed the way they portrayed it the other night. I just think, look, I'm for everybody. I'm very open-minded. You understand. Yeah. You know me better than most people know me. I'm very open-minded. But I thought what they did was a disgrace.
In case you somehow haven't heard by now,
they're angry that a fashion show at the ceremony looked like Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. In case you missed it, at one point during the ceremony, there was a long table that included a woman with a halo-like crown at the center.
Soon after, a nearly naked man painted in blue who depicted the Greek god Dionysus laid on the center of the table. The god was surrounded by drag queens, and the god then sang, and it turned into a runway scene where models were strutting. The Olympic ceremony's artistic director has denied that the scene was taking inspiration from The Last Supper. The director told Parisian news outlet BFM that, quote, the idea was to do a big pagan party linked to the gods of Olympus.
Despite the ceremony's artistic director Thomas Joly insisting that the display focused on diversity as a way to celebrate and highlight the liberties and freedoms afforded by the country of France, that is, as long as you aren't a migrant or conservative Muslim, the right wing is refusing to believe anything he says.
We are different, we are all different, we are all together, and we all stick together. This was the idea of the ceremony. The idea is not to be subversive or to shock people or to mock people, not at all. The idea is to say that we, a big we. We had Republican ideas. We had ideas about inclusion. I didn't have any other specific messages that I wanted to deliver in France. We are a republic. We have the right to love whom we want. We have the right not to be worshippers. We have a lot of rights in France, and this is what I wanted to convey.
But why listen to the organizers of the event when you could get your biases confirmed by people like this?
I'm really sorry, snowflakes, if you were offended. We don't really care. We achieve what we wanted to, which was a clear satanic pagan display that just shows how the West and Western civilization is completely falling to cultural Marxism.
Jenna Ellis skipped the dog whistles and went straight for the schmozzy propaganda, which was proudly displayed front and center at the 1936 Games in Berlin, giving even more evidence that international sporting events like the Olympics and World Cup have been and will always be inherently political. And that's not making some moral statement about either side of the coin being good or bad, but rather just an observable, inescapable historical fact. But because the politics involved in this year's opening ceremony centered on diversity, inclusion, and representation for marginalized communities, the largely Christian right wing absolutely lost it.
And it was absolutely a slap in the face to me, because there's no way he will convince me that it was not a mockery, because of the type of people, frankly, that he had in there. And it was scantily clad people, drag queens, and play for the Last Supper. It's just, why? Time and place. Why?
Ex-ESPN host turned wingnut Sage Steele gave the game away by admitting that the type of people performing, especially the drag performers, convinced her that the display was mocking Christianity, even though the tableau scene was representing a festival for the Greek god Dionysus, the god of wine, and partying with ancient mythical ties to France and the River Seine. If Steele and her conservative allies approached the ceremony with an open mind and took the time to learn about the piece of art they were viewing instead of immediately calling the whole thing satanic and using pagan as a slur, this wouldn't even be a topic of conversation. But we all know that conservatives don't look past the shapes and colors for deeper meanings and references unless they're trying to confirm their already held biases and opinions.
You can never and will never convince me that they didn't think to themselves, maybe this is pushing it. Maybe this might be interpreted.
It was intentional.
This way.
It was intentional.
This is totally intentional, and it's a slap in the face.
While Sage Steele Jillian Michaels, of course Elon, who dead names his own trans daughter and blames the woke mind virus for making her trans. Bigots like Riley Gaines, who have made a career out of being transphobic and being a useful mouthpiece for Fox News' anti-trans panic, and homophobic, misogynistic Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker all publicly aired their grievances with the ceremony, hiding behind their posturing as true righteous Christians to launder the bigotry and hate that they were spewing. Most importantly, though, all these people we've seen support and campaign for the political party that is trying to stop other Christians from putting the lessons of their faith into action.
The Annunciation House here in El Paso has been sheltering and feeding migrants since 1978. For many, this is the first stop to get dry clothing, food, and a warm place to sleep. But it is now at risk of being shut down by the state of Texas.
Paxton asked the court to close Annunciation House, calling the Catholic charity a stash house. But a judge rejected that request, denouncing Texas's actions as harassment.
The state of Texas has no reason to want to come after an NGO whose entire history has been dedicated to human rights. I think it's happening because of the politics. This is Christian, it is Jewish, it is Muslim. Constitutive to each of those faith traditions is I was a stranger and you welcomed me.
This is what religion should be and can be centered around, not the constant hate, discrimination, and vitriol we see far too often from so-called Christians on the right.